There's essentially three different types of sauna customers in the industry. It's very difficult to find out what's real, what's not real, what's advertising, what's marketing. There's no independent influencer out there. There's always a financial incentive. Awesome. Yeah.
Probably.
It's all real things in this head.
Who's to blame?
Welcome to the Sweat Fanatic Podcast. I'm your host, the Sweat Fanatic, and today I have my good friend Nick Pachalias on the podcast. He is the infrared sauna expert, and he goes around the country traveling and promoting saunas and talking about the health benefits, and he knows a whole lot about the industry. So how's it going, Nick? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Eric. It's going great. Super excited to be back on the podcast once again here. I'm loving the new setup. I mean, it seems like a major upgrade, so excited to jump into it today.
Yeah, it's awesome. It makes it a lot easier for Alexis.
Right. I know the behind the scenes team does a lot of work, so we appreciate all that. And I mean, just since we last spoke, I know there's been quite a bit of a movement in the industry as far as just kind of knowledge about the health benefits. And then, I mean, we've been doing a lot too over here. So one thing that I've seen a lot of is just kind of when customers start looking, especially in these cold winter months, if you want to kind of talk about like the process or maybe some of the things you've noticed in the industry as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the industry for a little over a decade at this point, and I've talked to thousands of people that have purchased saunas, thousands of sauna users, and gone deep with them. I feel like there's essentially three different types of sauna customers in the industry. And I think the first one is, hey, how much can I get a sauna for? I'm going to do a Google search. Oh, look, top Google ads. Oh, I can get a sauna for $2,000, $3,000. Well, that's pretty inexpensive. I can afford a couple grand. So I think I'm going to get a sauna. Wouldn't that be cool to have in the house? And then you get some of those people that will go out there and they'll buy it. They don't do much research. It's all about the least expensive option. And they don't dig into what makes it that price range, what makes a good quality sauna in a higher price range and stuff like that. And then they end up purchasing it. And what do you think? If you were to guess, what type of experience do you think they're going to have?
I mean, overall, I feel like most people have a pretty poor experience with a lower quality unit. I feel like there are some people that'll say it's a decent sauna. I like it. It gets hot. The only issue is I feel like there's not a lot of people that have a bunch of comparisons. So people will use one type of sauna and they'll say infrared or traditional, but let's just say infrared, they use it and they'll be like, oh, it's not that hot. And I know just like everything, there's kind of variety of options out there, and it's kind of hard to tell what separates like a low quality from a high quality unit. And so when people are looking in that like $2,000-$3,000 price point, I feel like a lot of the times companies will just make a sauna at a price point, not really looking at the actual functionality of the unit itself. And so that's something that I've noticed. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty accurate. So what it is you just get people that private label 100 different products, right? And they see a market's hot. They see, oh, infrared sauna sales are up throughout the country. Well, I'm a business person. I want to get in that market. I want to capture some of that business that's going on. So what do you think the first thing they do is? They're going to go to a sauna manufacturer and they're going to say, hey, can I sell your sauna? I want to sell your sauna. Now, sometimes they'll just copy and paste your link, and it's just a buy, click, pay of your sauna through their website, where I'm hit with that multiple times a week, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I'm getting an email. Hey, I'm starting up an online e-commerce site. I want to sell your saunas.
Right.
Good Health Saunas doesn't do that. And that's because I like to equate it as like we're like Apple. So we want to control the customer experience.
100%.
I don't know what this person or this site is going to say. And if they buy it through that, what type of experience is the customer having? So I want to make sure every single customer has the best experience possible purchasing a sauna. And the only way we can do that is control it and sell direct. So I'm a firefighter paramedic for 20 years in the Wisconsin area outside of Milwaukee. And about 11 years ago, we bought a sauna for our firehouse to help sweat the smoke out of our skin, improve our health and wellness program for firefighters, being a dangerous job and exposed to all sorts of toxins and carcinogens. And we bought a Good Health sauna and I started using it at the firehouse and I absolutely fell in love with how it made me feel. I went out, I bought my own sauna and I started talking to the owner and I was selling him on the benefits that I've received and how good I feel after using it. And he's like, "Hey man, can you go work can you go work a couple, trade shows for me, talk to people about the benefits we received, and I went on, did it, and I loved it. I fell in love with it, and I jumped on board, started working here, and now it's my full-time job. I got two full-time jobs, and it's a product I'm very passionate about. Just the benefits I've received from using my sauna is it helped me lose about 60 pounds 8 years ago. Took my hypertension, borderline hypertension, to perfect blood pressure. I had a high resting heart rate in the high 80s. Now it's in the low 50s. And I had very dirty, dry elbows, and my feet were very dry and cracked. And I started sweating on a regular basis, and that all went away. And now I have very healthy, phenomenal, smooth skin. But at the end of the day, I just use it because I feel a lot better every day. And so does my family. And one of the cool things I've done and had the experience of is go use all these different saunas out there. I travel around the country. I use different saunas. I go to different hot yoga studios. I know all the saunas out there. I know what's good. I know what's not so good. And we're here to educate the consumer because it's hard when you're shopping for an infrared sauna. It's very difficult to find out what's real, what's not real, what's advertising, what's marketing. And we're here to help educate the space for the consumer so that they can make an informed decision. If I don't care if you buy a Good Health sauna at the end of the day, it doesn't change my life at all. But I do care about people buying a good product that improves their health, makes them feel good, and has a good experience and enjoys using an infrared sauna. So we're going to talk about some different brands. We're going to talk about the customer experience. And hopefully this helps you weed through all the BS online and helps you make an informed decision and buy the best sauna that suits your needs.
Well, and you kind of said it best. I mean, I feel like in today's day and age, everyone is so afraid to be like, I'm the best, we're the best. But that's really what separates us. I mean,
Hmm.
everyone who works for Good Health Saunas truly cares to be the best infrared sauna, make it the best experience, and be a part of the customer's wellness journey their entire time.
How did you start working here and why do you work here?
Well, how I started working here was a little bit of an unorthodox route, you could say. I mean, I graduated college in 2021. The world was a little crazy at that point. I had an internship lined up at Aurora, Sinai down in Milwaukee, as just running clinical trials. Didn't really have much knowledge of it, but that was going to be the route. Had that junior year of college. Senior year rolls around, 2020, everything shuts down. Aurora becomes testing epicenter, and so the internships were one of the first programs that got cut. I graduated still, moved back home with my parents, started bartending at a local bar because I was bartending my way through college, and then actually met one of the owners of the company. Was complaining to him about my feet and my back hurting, and I've always been hyper competitive with sports. I have a twin brother, so that is just in my nature to always want to be the best. And being a part of Good Health Saunas and just what I was able to witness in my first couple months of meeting everyone is just realizing that Good Health Saunas only focuses on one thing, making sure they are the safest, the most efficient, and the most effective infrared saunas out there. There's not a lot of fluff around it. We all can be pretty direct sometimes, but I feel like that's why we can get our point across and why we're so passionate is because we're focused on A, making sure that the consumer is happy, but then B, the sauna is going to be the safest. And then at the end of the day, we're just going to be the best out there. And so that's something where I then started working for the company. I mean, that mentality has only grown and I feel like exploded with all of us and where we're at now. So I'm just super excited to see where we're going to go in the future. I know there's other companies out there, but there's nothing that can compete with us.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter who you're looking at, I would just encourage you to do your due diligence and make sure you're looking at the full picture.
Yeah, and it's an expensive product. It's a good infrared sauna costs a lot of money to build. It costs a lot of money to buy, and at the end of the day, you don't want to end up being a consumer with a $7,000-8,000 item in your house
Mm-hmm.
and think that, oh, I got tricked by the salesperson, I got tricked by the marketing.
Right.
It's not doing what I thought it was going to do.
Well, and that's a big reason why we like going out to the events. We like talking to we like talking to people. We like showing our product. Where if
There's
you
nothing
go,
to hide.
yeah, if you go look at a lot of other companies, there's a big reason they just hide behind the screens here. So they don't want that customer experience. They don't want you to know who they are or what company
Well,
they
it's
stand
like I put
behind.
it back in the day when I used to compete with other sauna companies at trade shows, and you put up a cheap sauna over there, and you put our sauna up over here, and they can see them, sit in them, feel them, touch them, and feel the difference of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna buy our sauna,
Right.
and that's what happens.
Right.
So
For sure. And that's where customers will ask, and I'll ask you, why is the hybrid the best series on the market?
why is the hybrid the best series on the market? Why is it the best sauna on the market? First of all, it's the hottest, most intense infrared sauna in the market. It heats up fastest in the industry. It's got the most heaters per square foot out of any infrared sauna in the market. It's the thickest, sturdiest, most well-built infrared sauna in the market. It's very comfortable and has a lot of lighting. It's an awesome sauna, and it comes from the best company in the industry with the best reputation and the best warranty in the industry as well, lifetime.
So, what do you say when a customer, let's pretend I'm calling you, hey Eric, I just shopped at this big box store. I saw a sauna there. What makes yours any different from theirs?
So the first thing I'm going to tell the customer is first of all, what are you using this for? You're using this for the health benefits. And how do you get the health benefits? Well, you want to sweat buckets. So the more infrared, the more heat that we absorb, the more we're going to sweat. And so I'm like, look at the heaters. Look at the big gaps in between the heaters. Those are cold spots. Everywhere you see a gap or you have a wall that doesn't have a heater, you're not going to feel heat from that side of your body. It's going to take a long time to heat up. It's barely going to get hot, and you're going to barely sweat in it. The other thing I bring up is I want you to do a 360, go walk around the entire sauna completely and look at that back wall. It's plywood, there's plexiglass, there's pressed particle board, that type of stuff. So if you want a sauna to last a long time, you cannot build it out of particle board or plywood. It doesn't work. The other problem is we worry about the safety of this as well. So we don't want any chemicals in the wood. We don't want any electromagnetic fields, which is what electricity puts off. That's not good for us. At all the big box stores, there's no third-party testing. So they're not taking air samples and testing the air quality to make sure that no chemicals are off-gassing. They're not have third parties coming out testing the entire sauna to make sure it's all low EMF and that we're not exposed to any electromagnetic fields. So, and then there's the other aspect of it is the longevity of the sauna. When I spend a lot of money on a sauna, I want it to last a long time. The last thing I want to be doing is calling in 6 months or a year and a half and being like, dude, my sauna doesn't work anymore. And thinking in my head, like, man, I should have went with that good sauna I was looking at. Should have went with Good Health Saunas. So that's kind of what the customer experience is. You don't want to it's not always about the price. It's about our health. It's about the safety, the quality, the effectiveness, and the longevity of the unit.
Definitely. No, well, that makes a lot of sense. And so now back to the customer on the phone here. All right. Well, I just did a quick Google search on my phone here. Now I'm seeing them anywhere from around 2 to about 4 or 5,000. What's really separating me from a low quality to the high quality? I mean, I know the construction, heaters are important. What's another maybe avenue I should really consider?
So you want to look at the history of the company. How long has the company been in business? So is it one of these fly by the night companies that just started up within the last year or two because they want to get in on a hot industry?
Hmm.
Or is it a company like Good Health Saunas that's been in business for 24 years and has been doing this for a very long time, way before anybody knew what an infrared sauna was?
Hmm.
So what's the warranty? Are you going to get a 1 to 3 year warranty? Well, Good Health Saunas offers a lifetime warranty. It's the best warranty in the industry. So, but at the end of the day, you want the heat. You want to sweat buckets. You want it to heat up fast, and you want it to get hot. And you want to spend less time in it to get the benefits is what you want. And that's what you get with a higher quality infrared sauna like Good Health Saunas.
And I know you'll say this too. I mean, there are a couple decent saunas out there,
Hmm.
but there's a couple really key factors that kind of separate good health saunas. And I know as I've been doing this a lot, people use them at spas, wellness centers. And so kind of the same premise with maybe they're not using necessarily that $2,000-$3,000 price point, but now they're using the $5,000 to $10,000 price point. And when you go online and you find yourself looking at that wide variety, customers oftentimes land on like 3 or 4 brands, you would say.
Hmm.
And with those 3 or 4 brands, I would say Good Health's obviously one of them. Then you'll see like Sunlight, Clearlight, Radiant Health. And when customers are looking at those companies, what are maybe some things that they could kind of peel back the cover a little bit and look a little deeper on?
Yeah, so a lot of times people, once they get past the less expensive ones, they know that they can't get away with spending a couple grand on a sauna.
Yeah.
That they have to spend maybe 5 to 10 grand on a good quality sauna. So then they look for the company that does the most advertising and marketing in the industry, and that would be Sunlighten. So they do a boatload of advertising, they do a boatload of marketing, and they do make their saunas look very nice, and that's enough research for them. It looks nice, it's cost money, so I'll buy it. And then you get some customers that go a little bit deeper. They start looking at reviews, they start looking at heat up times, temperatures, all that type of stuff, and then they realize they get off that company and they get onto a company. Well, what they'll end up doing is searching infrared sauna influencers and stuff like that, and then they'll go down some rabbit holes of influencers, and they'll probably start believing everything they're saying for the first, I would say, couple videos, but then they catch on to the fact that these are paid influencers. There's no independent influencer out there that just buys hundreds of saunas and tests them and deconstruct them and just tells you which one's the best way. There's always a financial incentive, right?
100%.
So they'll go down that rabbit hole, and a lot of times they'll end up with certain companies out on the West Coast and stuff like that, like Radiant Health, Clearlight, Heavenly Heat, companies like that. And they'll start bouncing around, they'll start filling out forms online, start talking to salespeople, and then they'll realize that, Radiant Health was sold about a year and a half ago, so it's a completely different owner. And it's a good sauna for the most part. It's low EMF. There's nothing really off-gassing in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll do the trick, but if you go a little bit deeper, if you want the best sauna in the market, well, then you usually end up looking at Good Health Saunas, or even Clearlight is a decent sauna out there in the market. And then a lot of times the most educated customers will narrow it down to those two companies, but then they're starting to look at the sauna. Well, how much glass does this thing have? Is this going to take longer to heat up? How long is it going to get hot? Because wood contains the heat.
How do I put this thing together?
How do I put this thing together? Is this going to be a nightmare, or is this going to be an easy system where I'm going to have the sauna together in about an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Also, heater coverage. If I want my feet to get the benefits on my feet, well, I'm going to need an infrared floor heater, a true infrared floor heater, not something that just gets warm.
Or a butt warmer.
Yeah. So you get the educated customer that's done a lot of research, and it takes time. It takes weeks. I've had customers, it takes months to go through this process to weed through all the BS and find out what's the truth and what's really going on and what is the best bang for my buck. And the customers that go through that process, they end up with a good health sauna.
And then everyone who does, you mentioned, kind of look at the reviews too. Are there any specific type of reviews? Obviously, I mean, we're consumers with everything too, just in our daily lives. Are there any reviews that you really hold a lot more value in than others?
Well, Google and BBB, you can't manipulate. You can't do it. And if you try to, they'll throw you right out real quick. And then they shut you down. So those are the ones that I value the most when I'm shopping around for a sauna. Facebook's decent, but you got to be careful on Facebook. But those are kind of the ones that I look for the most. When I'm shopping for any type of product, I'm shopping for my house.
Right. And I think even when we're traveling, we'll go on Google and be looking for restaurants. And normally the highest rated one is the one where we end up. And so looking for real reviews, real customers, not, just up on the website that can be manipulated by almost anyone.
And the thing is, if you want to, the expert mode when you're looking at reviews is look at the complaints. Click on the complaints. Okay, what are the customers complaining about with this sauna, and what does the company do to respond about it? That will tell you a lot right there.
Definitely.
Especially as far as the customer service.
And you mentioned a lot with like the social influencers too, how they're not the ones that are actually representing the company. They only see the limelight of it, but they're not going to be the one that is there to help you at the end of the day if something goes wrong.
No, please use this promo code so I get $400.
But then when you get it, something's not working.
Radio silence.
Right. And so I think we hear that a lot.
I'm inundated with that 4 to 5 times a week of, hey, I'm a influencer. I can promote your product. I want to push your product. Give me a kickback. And we don't do that.
Right.
Good Health Saunas does not do that. Anybody that's out there that says, hey, Good Health Saunas is a fantastic sauna, they're not getting a kickback. We don't pay anybody to promote our saunas.
Right. And that's big. Just even when I got involved in the company and just in the industry, and when you type in infrared sauna, I know there's tons of different options out there. And kind of like you said, the educated consumer will drill it down to about 2, maybe 3 of them. When they are searching infrared sauna, there's a couple key buzzwords that I feel like we'll run into as far as like red light therapy, and then obviously like infrared differentiating from red light therapy. What's kind of your take on that?
So you can't do both. You're not going to get away with doing both, using red light therapy and infrared sauna at the same time. If you truly want to get the health benefits of red light therapy and you truly want to get the health benefits of an infrared sauna, you have to use them separately. Now, it sounds cool. Oh, I could put a red light therapy lamp in my infrared sauna and I get the benefits of both at the same time. Of course, we all want to save time and we always want to do things that kill time, do them both together. That way it saves us time throughout the day. But at the end of the day, if longevity, skin health, pain relief, all those health benefits that we get from this stuff is the end result, you got to use them separately. And Nick, would take a guess. If you already know, you know. Why do you think we should use them separately?
One of the big reasons is, well, the red light therapy, all the studies out there are done with direct contact to the skin. So the companies that'll put panels 2 feet, 1.5 feet away from your body, you're not really getting any of those red light benefits. And a lot of them will use, I brought kind of a red light today that, this would be considered medical grade, where, I don't know if you can see the camera here, but it's got the fans on it. And if I actually turn it on here, you'll be pretty impressed with, I don't know if you can hear this on camera, but these fans are loud.
Put it up to the microphone.
Cooling this red light off. And there is very minimal amount of heat, but... Okay. So you can see, there is minimal amount of heat, but the fans required to keep this thing cool to actually provide the medical grade red light, I mean, I feel like that would not sustain inside a sauna.
No, because it negates the fans, which then forces the light to overheat.
And if I were to want to get the benefits of red light separately is the best, before, after, any preference for you?
Not really. I don't. Away from the sweating. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do it before I use a sauna, because the thing is when you're sweating and you got sweat coming out of your body and you have the red light directed at your body, it scatters the light and you don't absorb it properly. So what do they call it? Photobiomodulation.
Yep.
So we're going to sound fancy here. Photobiomodulation. So we want that to be correct. And if we have sweat blocking it or causing it to have to go through deeper into our body, it's just, we're not going to absorb it. And actually, if we do absorb it, we don't process it the right way. So which means then now you're actually, you're by putting a red light therapy light in your sauna is actually giving you less health benefits in the grand scheme of things. Because now we've taken way too much power away from the infrared heaters to power red light that's too far away from our body and is getting scattered by the sweat coming out of our body. So now we just have to use the sauna for a lot longer to get the benefits of infrared versus getting a really good infrared sauna and not taking power away from it to power red light that's not doing anything. So
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I know just a couple brands out there kind of have like add-ons and upgrades, whether that be more heaters, red lights. Why do you think that is?
well, it's cool. So first of all, you got customers that don't understand the difference between red light therapy and infrared. They'll walk up to an infrared sauna and they'll look at the red light and be like, "Well, so my infrared's not up there." Or they'll have an infrared sauna, a cheap one that they bought online, and then they'll come talk to us and be like, "My infrared doesn't work." And you'll be like, "What do you mean your infrared doesn't work?" "Well, the light doesn't turn on." We're like, "That's not the infrared. You can't see the infrared. It comes from the heaters. We know it's there by the form of heat." So you got two aspects. So you got red light therapy,
Yep.
which you can see,
Yep.
and then you got infrared heat that you can't see. So the main benefit of an infrared sauna comes from the infrared heaters. So you can't see it, but you know it's there in the form of heat.
Yep.
And now, if we look at the health and medical benefits of both, what do people use red light therapy for? Pain relief, detox, skin health, stuff like that. An infrared sauna gives us all those health benefits, but a whole lot more, because it induces sweating, detoxification, cardiovascular workout, and the heat. So most people that are looking for the benefits just need an infrared sauna, because we get all those benefits, but even a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
Now, if we didn't do either one of them and we wanted to amplify some of our skin health benefits, what I would recommend doing is using a red light face mask that covers your face, your neck, or shoulders, or getting a really powerful red light tower and stand very close to it. Or you could go to a place that has a $50,000 to over $100,000 tanning bed that looks like a tanning bed, but it's all red light therapy. That's how you truly want to get the benefits of red light therapy. And inside an infrared sauna, it's just placebo at that point.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. And I was just fighting a cold here, so I jumped in the sauna and instantly noticed a difference with the heat. And I feel like if I were to use red light therapy, it wouldn't have impacted me anywhere near as much. And so with the infrared heat, I feel like you said, there's a lot more benefits to it. And when you're just using red light therapy, it's, in my opinion, a little bit harder to kind of see or feel the benefits. Whereas, like, when I'm in the sauna, I can physically see myself dripping sweat. So I know I'm getting benefits, even though it may not feel it that instant, even though it is very pain relieving, immediate relaxation. But the big thing is the long-term relief after. It's when I get out of the sauna, it's not like I just stopped. I'll feel it for the whole day or the night.
Yeah, and I enjoy using my sauna because the heat feels good on my skin, it feels good on my muscles and my joints, and it relaxes me. It's a very addicting feeling, but also it's a noticeable difference in how better I feel after I am done using the sauna. I get out and I feel like $1,000,000,
Mhm.
and it works every single time I use that sauna. And that's why I use it every morning because then
Right.
I operate at the highest level every single day.
Mhm.
Now, when I've used red light therapy, like the big tanning beds and stuff like that, I feel good. The way I like to describe how I felt after using it, like a tanning bed style, you know how like when you haven't been in the sun for a long time
Mhm.
and you go in the sun or you go tanning and you feel good. I get that feeling, but my skin, it doesn't feel like
Mm.
my skin doesn't feel as good because
Yeah.
it's not giving us the vitamin D and stuff like that.
And so maybe it's like getting the chemical reactions going a little
Mhm.
bit, but not as much as like the actual physical
Yeah, but
benefit.
if I gotta put that feeling I get from a red light therapy bed compared to infrared sauna bed, in just a general infrared sauna,
Mhm.
it's not even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Not even a
mm, mm,
comparison,
mm.
really.
So a lady comes up to the booth and she at the Des Moines Home Show and she goes, "Oh, I bought an infrared sauna at the fair." And my buddy's like, "Oh, how do you like it? You enjoying it?" And she goes, "No. I have headaches. I feel a scratch in the back of my throat. I feel awful and I get out of it essentially right away. I can't use it. It's like the worst experience." And he's like, "What? I've never heard of that before. What is going on?" And start asking some questions about her experience in her sauna. And then he quickly finds out that it's not our sauna. So there was this fly by the night company that sells soft tubs, and they set up saunas in the corner, and they were selling the saunas, kind of mimicking us at the fair,
Mhm.
even though they're not us.
Mm.
And then she knew the guy. Somehow she had a connection to the guy that was selling them, so she trusted him. And she's like, "Hey, I'm sensitive to EMFs. My whole house is low EMF. Like I got the EMF blockers on every piece of electrical equipment in my house," essentially is the way she described it. And she said it was low EMF. He said there's nothing that off gases or anything like that. And then she bought the floor model. She picked it up. She took it home, started using it, and it made her feel absolutely awful. And so she went into our sauna at the Des Moines Home Show and she used it for about 15 minutes. And she came out and she's like, "Man, I wish I bought your sauna. I didn't see you guys there. It was my first time there. We only looked at about half of the fairgrounds and I didn't know anything about you guys. I really didn't do any research on saunas at all. I just knew this guy and I trusted him and I bought a sauna. And now I have to get this sauna out of my house as fast as possible." And that's that's why you have to be careful and you have to do your due diligence on your research of an infrared sauna.
That's where I mean, I just was talking to a customer earlier today. Didn't get a chance to tell you this. But we um he got our corner hybrid unit and he's out in the East Coast area. He just got it about 3 or 4 months ago now and just had his checkup with his doctor. His cholesterol numbers got lowered, his blood pressure's numbers got lowered, and then his mom, who's I think in her 90s, her blood pressure was low and she started using it and it helped bring her blood pressure numbers back up to where the doctor was asking,
Wow.
what else did they do? And he said the only thing that I did different was start using the sauna consistently. And I use it 4 or 5 times a week, 30 minutes. And that is just one of those I wanted to tell you that
That's
because,
impressive.
yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. That's why we do this. That's why we make a phenomenal product. That's why we sell a phenomenal product.
Mhm.
That's why we use it is for the stories for like you just explained. And once you start doing this long enough, you just compile story after story after story of all these health benefits that the customers have received and the benefits that they've gotten from it. And it's pretty cool to hear about them. when they reach back out to you or you reach back out to them.
And that's why I feel like we're so passionate about it, is because we feel the benefits, but then when we can hear other people feeling about the benefits, we don't want them to go waste their money on a low quality, cheap sauna and have a bad experience with it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, the biggest motivator for me is helping people take that next step, health and wellness journey. And then when you can get those calls back, or get the calls with the rewarding stories or just the health benefits that people feel, that's, I feel like, what people should be focusing on at the end of the day. And obviously marketing and advertising is huge in the industry, but kind of like we were talking about before we started shooting, if it really worked, people would be doing it and people would be talking about it a lot. And so looking at the real reviews, I think you used the Ozempic for an example that you didn't really hear a lot about. Now everyone's talking about it. Healthy or not, that's everyone's own opinion. But with the sauna, I mean, the scientific evidence behind it is about as concrete as it gets. Am I right?
Oh yeah, I mean, every year more and more studies keep coming out about it. I can't tell you how many doctors buy a Good Health sauna, and they can't wait to get the health benefits that an infrared sauna provides them. So, but to swing it back to the customer experience, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're shopping for an infrared sauna, what do you care about? You want it to heat up fast, you want it to get hot, and you want to spend least amount of time in there to get the benefits, and you want it to be safe. You don't want any chemicals releasing. You don't want to be sitting in electromagnetic fields, and you want to be secure knowing that you have a lifetime warranty and a company that has phenomenal reputation and takes care of all their customers. And that's what Good Health Sauna provides. So you get into the research deep enough, you pretty much end up buying a Good Health Sauna.
That's basically what we've all come to the conclusion. I mean, even working for the company, we've tried all the different saunas out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I both can unanimously say the hybrid series is head and shoulders above the rest. I mean, nothing can compete with it. Signature series, as good, if not better than anything else out there. And I know since we last spoke, we're in a new podcast studio, but we also got some pretty exciting events coming up here. I'm going out to Philadelphia this weekend, and then
it's probably last weekend by the time the episode
releases. That's true. So check our website, see where we'll be in the upcoming week when this comes out.
So Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Novi, Michigan,
Strawberry Festival down in Florida,
Buffalo, New York, Cleveland, Ohio, Indianapolis, coming near you.
Yes, if you're in the area, check us out. We'll be at the expos. If not, we're more than happy to give you a virtual tour of our space here, show your options, and obviously figure out which sauna is going to work best for you and your goals.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Nick. I appreciate it. So I love talking with you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Hopefully we can get back on here. Maybe we'll get a group podcast now that we got this extra space going. So if you guys want to see anyone on the podcast studio, I mean, throw it in the comments, or if anyone's interested in jumping on the podcast, I mean, we're always interested.
That's it for this episode of the Sweat Fanatic Podcast. Stay tuned, and until next time, get out there and sweat.